It's officially ranking season. Pro Football Focus putting out their quarterback rankings. Al, your franchise signal caller, Kyler Murray, stacks up against his peers, Johnny Venerable.
Plus, Michael Wilson and James Conner join the show. We talk about this offseason. Was it the right move? We're running it back, baby. PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. Let's hear it for the boys. Let's give the boys a hand here. It's PHNX Cardinals, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe, please. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Brack in Studio K. Damon, Dawg behind the mic here on May 21st. How we living, fellas?
Don't yell at them. They're nice people. So aggressive. What's up, Jacob, Eris? How about Jessica, Shaft, G. Willikers? We got the squad here today. I love to see it. T. Cleary, Ozzy, Vic R, the Mal Havoc. We got so many people in here. Jules, BC, David. Judith Natius. I'm struggling today to find the names and say them out loud. Could be bad news for the rest of the show, but bear with us. We got some great stuff coming your way. How about Michael Wilson? How about James Conner? How about quarterback rankings? Always interested to see where 1K1 falls.
Yeah, we're thriving today. Everybody drop a like on this video. I want to know how many people. I'm throwing this at the top of the show because the vibes are high with this team right now, despite PFF's rankings. I want to know how many people are coming to this bad boy right here. I wonder how many people in this little fanboy and girl community are coming to New Orleans, NOLA, with your boys week 1. Bo and I, our bags are packed. We're ready to set sail to the Big Easy with all of you to watch the Cardinals. Just mercy rule Tyler Shuck and the boys. That's what we're looking for, Bo.
We're going to get to the conversation about the Tush Push and how each respective organization voted. You'll see that Kellen Moore did follow the orders of his former head coach and Nick Sirianni, and you'll see the Saints were one of the few NFC teams that did vote to keep it. I think what you're going to learn week 1 is Kellen Moore is probably the most in over his head coach in the NFL.
A lot of people are calling Kellen Moore big time loser vibes. Big time, I'm not saying that people are saying it. Good luck to Kellen Moore with that horrendous, just XFL level roster in the Big Easy. And we wish him well in week 1 as the Cardinals shut out the New Orleans Saints.
A bad coach with bad players is going to be a bad team for New Orleans. Yeah.
A bad team. We're fired up here. We got Pro Football Focus, as they do. They're doing their off-season rankings, and we will cover them. Here's what I'll say. I like PFF. They do a lot of good stuff. We've had Trevor Sikkema on, friend of the program. We've had other members of PFF on. They're doing a nice job for the most part. They really liked the Arizona Cardinals draft class. And by and large, last year, I thought they were incredibly fair with a lot of their post-game analytics and rankings. The quarterback rankings that they dropped today, I think the Cardinals have a bone to pick with PFF. I think a lot of fan bases are probably scratching their head. And again, you don't want to subscribe to groupthink, and they definitely don't do that, Bo, in these rankings. But at the same time, it does make you question the validity. This harkens back to a time where a lot of people use QBR for everything, right? Or quarterback rating for everything. It's like sometimes you just got to watch the game with your eyes.
No doubt about it. It's well said. Yeah, and when you get to a certain part of this rankings, you really start to scratch your head and say, which games were you watching last year? I mean, this is the 2025 quarterback rankings, and I'm trying to find some sort of logic that went into some of these. Now, I mean, I know you're nitpicking, and I like Chris Sims, who's a friend of the program, beloved friend of the program. I'm proud to say he's doing his rankings now, where he's doing it pyramid style, and you've got tiers where you don't have like, okay, let's get to the group where it's like Jared Goff and I guess Jordan Love and all these guys who are kind of lumped together, and you don't have the ability to nitpick like where they were specifically ranked, which I think is probably a smart idea, because I think that's where you kind of, especially when you get past some of these guys, like once you get past, I think maybe Josh Allen, it gets a little tough. It gets a little murky, and that's where you start to see changes as far as different work done from different analysts, different pundits.
Well, let's start with, I think we have the 1 through 5 ready to go.
Okay.
And I think that's the area where we have the least amount of conviction with this. Mahomes or disagreement, I should say. Mahomes number 1, Burrow number 2. I think is a little bit, clickbaity, but I think most people would have Josh Allen number 2. But again, this isn't an issue with me. I think the top 4 are unequivocally the 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL. Mahomes, you have to continue to give the number 1 mantle to, and then Burrow, Jackson, and Allen. I think it's a rotation. If Joe Burrow had Baltimore's infrastructure, I think Joe Burrow would be in the playoffs every year, right? Joe Burrow's maybe the biggest, cheapest poverty franchise going right now in terms of how they spend in Cincinnati. Lamar Jackson's multiple MVP winner, well-deserved. Josh Allen, his first MVP. And then Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl champion, the best quarterback by a lot of people's metrics in the NFC. I don't have an issue with the top 5, Bo.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a little issue with Jalen Hurts being a top 5 guy. I don't
you
think.
Do?
Yeah, I do. I don't think he's a. I mean, you look at his stats and they're pretty pedestrian. I know you enter in that one stat that we will talk about, 1 yard play that Jalen Hurts, based on his skill set, his size, his physicality, he's able to execute that unlike anybody's ever seen. But 2,900 yards passing, 18 touchdowns. It's pretty underwhelming. And you're going to say he's a top 5 guy? It's tough to sell me on that. I mean, the passing attack was mid throughout the year. I'm not. I mean, throwing the football is one of the biggest, attributes you need from your quarterback, and I'm just not sold on Jalen Hurts, the big time passer. I mean, not in the same conversation as those guys that are ahead of him.
No, that's why I say I think those top 4 clearly in a class of their own. I mean, he's been to 2 Super Bowls, he's won 1. Like it's not a hill I'm going to die on. And again, like I think
I'll die on the hill he's not a top 5 guy. I will. I think that's a worthy thing to die for.
Okay. All right. You'll die for that.
Yeah.
It's fine. Be dead.
I've never been more with Bo in my entire life. The guy has the number 1 O-line in football, the number 1 duo receiving core in football, the number 1 defense in football last year. It would be a travesty if he didn't win the Super Bowl, I'd argue.
Yeah.
Okay. I like Jalen Hurts probably more than most people do, because I think he was an afterthought. He transferred schools. He was a 2nd rounder. Carson Wentz had that gross deal, and he just outworks everybody. I just like Jalen Hurts' makeup. So yeah, I don't have an issue with him. I like it more than like when Brock Purdy was in the MVP conversation, the fall MVP conversation 2 years ago. Like I don't think we're dealing with that there. Listen, if Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback in this list, he's top 5. He's anywhere between 5 to 10 for me. So again, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to live in that world. I mean, I just
okay. All right, let's get to the 5 through 10, and you tell me who you would
I don't
replace.
think you could disagree. Like, yeah, he's a top 5 leader. He brings things to the table that absolutely impact the game. But you look at him, like nothing definitively puts him in that class. And that's tough. That's where it's kind of things sully this list right out of the gates for me. So yeah.
All right. So the list is already trash. It gets really bad. It gets really bad here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look 5 through 10, Bo. This is where this list begins to go completely off the rails. Let's start with number 10. Geno Smith is a top 10 quarterback according to PFF for the Las Vegas Raiders. I like Geno Smith. Just smacked around the Cardinals. So you're not going to hear me talk about him like not being a capable starting quarterback. In no world, like just for instance, where is CJ Stroud and why is Geno Smith rated ahead of him? What the hell are they doing? What's going on here?
It is strange. It is strange. I don't know how Geno Smith. I think this is disrespectful to guys like Jordan Love and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
who've accomplished way more, I think, than Geno Smith. I'm not sure. I mean, if those guys were traded, they would bring back way more than Geno Smith did with the deal that the Vegas Raiders pulled off for him to get him from Seattle. It's like Seattle basically just said, okay, let's move on. It's time to move off of this guy. People, if you're a top 10 quarterback, teams don't do that. They don't say, hey, we feel like we can do better, and let's just see what we can get on the trade market for this guy. That's not top 10 material.
It's really gross. Jaden Daniels, I got to see him do it a little bit longer. Stafford, I think it's about where he should be. Herbert's fine. I think Herbert's like a back end top 10 quarterback. I think we're really going to see Goff struggle without his coaching staff, and I feel Goff really felt like he hit a little bit of a plateau last year. There are numerous guys who are left off this list, but the guys who warrant those selections, like Herbert and Stafford, are top 10 quarterbacks for me. And then, Jaden Daniels probably gets, everybody had Stroud in their top 10 last year, and then he was just kind of average this year or slightly above. The league has tape on Jaden Daniels. The league has tape on Cliff Kingsbury this offseason. How are they going to get it corrected? But Geno Smith, there's no world in which Geno Smith is a top 10 quarterback. No world.
Well, I ask everybody. I ask everybody in the chat. I ask you. I ask Damon. It's like, what happened? What happened to this position that we hold to such a high standard? Like, what are these rankings? What is this bottom of the top 10 that they're just letting everybody in? They took away security and they said everybody in the door. Geno, you first.
I think outside of the top 4 guys, there's a lot of inconsistencies where guys are good one year and then they're like Matthew Stafford's statistics last year were awful. And then you have like 21 passing touchdowns last year, and he doesn't give you the mobility of like a K1. I just feel like there's not enough consistency with that group. I think that's a big reason why, and I know you disagree with it. Like, I think Jaden Daniel or Jalen Hurts is top 5 because I don't
know. You love him. You love Jalen Hurts. I didn't know this about you. I didn't know about this sneaky hidden love affair.
I know this goes back to the original conversation of like the tiers is probably the way to go, right?
Yeah.
But what's the argument for Jaden Daniels below Jalen Hurts?
I mean, just team success, really. But it's one game. It's one game. It's one game.
I think if Jaden Daniels wins the NFC East this year, I think Jaden Daniels is going to be everybody's favorite, darling, whatever you want to call. It's hard to separate team success with quality of quarterback according to PFF. Like, we're conditioned, if you're in the playoffs every year, to think you're good, right? Hey, you're in the playoffs. You're on national TV. We know you. We see you. Stafford's in that category. Like Herbert with Jim Harbaugh now. It's like Goff relevant now in Detroit. Like for Kyler Murray, who is about to be on this list here in a second, to get to that level, it's not all about stats. It's about playoff appearances and playoff wins. Again, I think that speaks to my Jalen Hurts argument. It's like what, and that's why I love the NFL. Get on a soapbox for a second. We love the NBA too here. There are so many fraudulent statistics in the NBA and Major League Baseball, but mostly in the NBA. I'm talking about true team sports where it's like, this guy can play, this guy carries his team, look beyond the box score, whereas guys are getting max contracts in the NBA. Like, listen, I like Devin Booker well enough, right? Devin Booker could not make the playoffs this year. And it's like, well, he's a 30-point per game guy. It's like Jalen Hurts gets the job done. That's why he's on this list, right? Matthew Stafford in crunch time when you're 1-4, gets the job done. That's the beauty of the NFL. You're either winning games or you're not. And I think we got to get Kyler Murray in this conversation of, I don't care what his stats were in January, he's winning big football games for this team, and he'll be on this list.
Yeah, no, it truly is. It's like it's Samuel L. Jackson, it's The Rock, and the other guys, and then the rest of this list is the other guys. It's Will Ferrell, it's Mark Wahlberg, it's Rob Riggle, it's just a collection of guys, and the inconsistencies. Yeah, they're glaring at this position because it's a position that's under a microscope. You know, I hate to keep bringing them up, but like Geno Smith traded from the team moved on.
I can't
21 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. Top 10 guy, top 10. He's a top 10 guy. I don't understand it. Yeah, I mean, Jaden Daniels made his way to the NFC Championship game, rookie season, phenomenal year, probably the best rookie season we've seen from a quarterback, and that's on the heels of what we witnessed the previous year with CJ Stroud, and then we see, the just complete, like, CJ Stroud was firmly in the top 10 last year at this time. I'd have to look back, but I mean, he was the biggest darling of all the quarterbacks at this time last season. Like you couldn't talk quarterback without talking Stroud at this time. I think he was maybe 7, Johnny.
He threw 20 touchdowns last year. That's why PFF hates him. He only completed 63% of his throws.
I think that there's almost some spite. I think people were so high on CJ Stroud. Yeah, they were so high on CJ Stroud that he came out and he just kind of threw a clunker of a sophomore campaign. They're like, well, we can't put him in the top 10 after that.
Also, quality competition too. He plays in a dog water division that they win, but let's take a look at 11 through 15. This is, you're gonna see some guys on this list here that we feel like probably should be a little bit higher. Brock Purdy at 11 is disgusting. Fresh off a 6-11 season, a new quarterback contract that we laugh at, but he's probably the only one that you can't make a case should be higher. Jordan Love in the playoffs last couple of years, won a playoff game, should be higher. Baker Mayfield in that same category, revitalized his career. Stroud to me in this category as well. And then we got our guy Kyler Murray, 15th overall. And I think Kyler Murray on any given Sunday is between the 6th to 12th best quarterback in the NFL, 6th to maybe 14th best quarterback. And that's what we talked about, and he's brought up, is like that consistency piece. How do you get him playing like a consistent top 10 quarterback instead of, being placed where he is right now? PFF is not giving Kyler Murray, I don't think, the benefit of the doubt with this ranking. I think they're saying like, you play somebody 15th and you're like, yeah, I could take him or leave him. Whereas I don't know anybody with a brain that would take Brock Purdy over Kyler Murray.
Yeah, no, I think that's the main point, right? And I think you look at the players below him. You got Baker Mayfield, who's thrown back-to-back seasons for over 4,000 yards, and has really 69 passing touchdowns the last 2 seasons. But statistically, been good on a playoff team, and probably doing more statistically with less than Brock Purdy in his height. Like, they damn these quarterbacks for their inconsistencies, but then Brock Purdy missteps and has a mid-season, and there's just like, well, we're going to hang our hat on that 31 touchdown, 7 interception performance that he had, where he had the Avengers around him. It's just, the criteria is, it's just kind of, it's on moving scales, and that's what's frustrating about this list, because I would take, no doubt about it, in that tier, all 4 quarterbacks below him and slide him up and slide him down to, what was it, 15th or 16th?
We take all those quarterbacks minus Purdy ahead of Geno Smith. And then I think you could rearrange some things. I mean, Sam Darnold not in this group, pretty wild considering the year he just had. Other let me grab this here really quick. Other notable omissions on this list. So I'll just read these off. Trevor Lawrence has won a playoff game, 16th. Dak Prescott, not a fan of PFF, at 17th overall. Tua at 18th. Bo Nix belongs where he is, 19th. Bryce Young, 20th. JJ McCarthy, 21st. Drake May, 22nd. Michael Penix Jr., 23rd. Caleb Williams, times are tough, 24th according to PFF. And then you've got Cam Ward at 25. And then you've got Sam Darnold at 26 behind Cam Ward, who hasn't played a game yet. Sam Darnold's in the tier called veterans capable of solid play, but can quickly be replaced. He's down there with Geno Smith and Justin Fields. My God. The last rated quarterback, by the way, on this list out of 32, the Cardinals' week 1 opponent, we assume, Mr. Shucking it up, baby. Tyler Shuck, 32nd overall.
Yeah, you think Tyler Shuck saw anything in the ACC that resembles an NFL defense? I mean, he is in for a rude welcoming from just the NFL in general. I'm puzzled. You've got JJ McCarthy at 21st, and then Drake May and Michael Penix Jr., who made their debuts last year. I think people thought they were encouraged by both of those guys.
Yeah.
We haven't seen JJ McCarthy. Like, he's coming off of 2 knee surgeries after suffering that and the meniscus issue in preseason. And we're just like, yep, JJ McCarthy, man. He's the guy. He's the guy in this draft class. As far as last year's draft class, he's only behind Bo Nix. That's it. Bo Nix, who, had a solid run against, cupcake schedule. He's inside the top 20, barely at 19. You got Bryce Young, and then it's JJ McCarthy with Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., Caleb Williams, all behind him, all in the same draft class.
Yeah. Really, really bizarre world. Breaking news here. Colts owner Jim Irsay passes away. That's sad. Really sad. 65 years old.
Sad. How old was he?
65.
Wow.
Prayers up to the Irsay family. Way too young. All right. So in a perfect world, what do you think is the most appropriate rating for Kyler Murray based on where you envision? Let's not talk about accolades or whatever. Like, where you envision him like finishing this year in a perfect world?
In a perfect world, you have him really pressuring the pundits, the analysts out there to be a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
Because you see the outside of the guys that are the anointed top 4 I think without a shadow of a doubt, you could say they're the top 4 quarterbacks in the league, and you can argue as far as where they all kind of rank amongst themselves. But once you get outside of that, like, I think you can make your case. Kyler has the skill set. He has the talent around him. It has to come with the consistency and the execution to outplay a guy like Jalen Hurts. He has that ability. Jalen Hurts, as you see on this ranking, is as high as 5. So Michael Wilson has told us that much several times, where he believes Kyler Murray is a top 5 quarterback, can play in the conversation as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So, but it's got to be what we've heard from the head coach and Jonathan Gannon, where he's consistently playing at that high level. If he does that, I mean, that resume, that work will speak for itself.
This is what PFF had to say about K1. After multiple injury-plagued seasons, Murray finally stayed healthy in 2024 and delivered an 82.1 grade overall. If he can avoid the injury bug again in 2025, Murray is well-positioned to take another step forward in year 3 under Jonathan Gannon and the offensive coordinator, Drew Petzing. So that kind of was written respectfully like something from Chat GPT or AI. But here's what I will say. Like, no one's expecting Kyler Murray to have, if he's healthy, a worse season than last year. I think we're all conservatively saying, like, numbers are going to go up. Numbers should go up. Kyler Murray told us on this podcast he's going to run more. Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like the Incredible Hulk. Trey McBride's solidified. Michael Wilson in year 3. 3rd year under Drew Petzing. 2nd consecutive offseason working in the offseason with Drew Petzing, fully healthy. James Conner, Trey Benson, plus left tackle. There's just plus defense. It's going to give him more opportunities, right? So you guys talk about Jalen Hurts, infinite opportunities. Like, time for Kyler Murray to get some of that meat on the bone. So I'm with you. I think perfect world, we're talking about Kyler Murray as a top. I'll just do that as a top 4 quarterback in the NFC, right? Put those NFC quarterbacks away, or those AFC quarterbacks away. It's like Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray, Jaden Daniel, Jordan Love. He's in that conversation with those guys. And I think Perfect time to pass the torch too. Stafford is old. It's time. It's time to take Matthew Stafford and say enough's enough. You've had your time. This is supposed to be, and this is my biggest argument. Kyler Murray is 26, 27, 28 years old now. This is the time he needs to be dominating the division. Yeah. He knows that. Like, Stafford needs to be done. Sam Darnold is a flyer, right? And then Brock Purdy was a 7th round pick. This is K1's time. And I think he knows that too.
Right. You want him to be that motivation level to just stretch more beyond. And I know his main focus is winning football games, and he's willing to do whatever. I think that the opening schedule, the first 6 games where they play 5 non-playoff teams, or I think maybe 6 non-playoff teams. Yeah. Like it's conducive to turning heads, maybe even getting some style points, adding some sizzle. And not having like, oh, okay, well, Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, they have a good record and they easily handled the Saints. Like, give me something where Kyler Murray is putting up multiple touchdowns in a consecutive game stretch. I think that would bode well for him as far as the national conversation. Now, we know this just having conversations with key figures in the organization, including Gannon, like, probably doesn't care. Even Kyler probably doesn't care statistically what it looks like, but I think it would give the Cardinals, it would put them at a different level within the league, and I think it would put Kyler Murray, because when you mention these guys that he's lumped in with or just ahead of him, and if you're having the debate, Kyler Murray versus this guy, Kyler Murray versus that guy, like CJ Stroud's and such, like, people are going to consistently give the other guy the edge. Kyler has to make himself undeniable. The way to do that, unfortunately, it's just not just the statistics of winning, but also actual statistics that people can look at and say, hey, he is better.
It's time. Yeah, it's time to take a selfish. He can take a selfish and go out there. And it's like, hey, James Conner, I'll take the rushing touchdown here. Yes, please. I think we're talking over 30 total touchdowns again for K1, which should lead this team back to where it wants to be. Who are the key figures that are going to help K1? We mentioned James Conner and Michael Wilson. They joined us at K1's Celebrity Softball Tournament last Saturday. We've got those interviews right around the corner. It's PHNX Cardinals. Fired up here on a football Wednesday. I can't wait to be able to dive back in with our friends at Bet365 ahead of the Eastern and Western Conference Finals in the NBA. Right now, they've got tip-off Tuesdays yesterday. They've got slam dunk Saturdays this weekend. But every day, they're hooking you up right now on your premier betting app with a 100% parlay boost. Go check it out before the Knicks tip-off tonight against the Indiana Pacers. You can be one of 90 million users worldwide that are taking advantage of the elite early payout offer, the boosts, the props, everything and more right now. It's your premier betting app is Bet365. We're going to hook you up right now using the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. New customers get 150 in bonus bets. Just deposit a 10 spot, place a $5 bet. Just do Knicks money line, Pacers money line. You want to do an over, you want to do a layup, whatever you want to do it with Bet365. You're going to get those 150 in bonus bets that can be used, by the way, on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with Bet365. You got to be 21 years and older, physically located here in the great state of Arizona. If you were someone you know has a gambling problem, what's help? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text Next Step to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
You were out there with your good friend on Saturday, Trey McBride, who gifted you a beautiful hat, customized from Branded Bills. Premium headwear and apparel, Branded Bills. It is an international company. Your hat's all over the place, but it's right here, Mesa, Arizona. We love it. Born and bred right here in AZ. Whether you're in the need of snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. I mean, they are beautiful, high-quality hats. Looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart? Maybe it's your co-head softball team. Maybe it's your kid's Little League Pee-wee team. Maybe it's just your company you want to elevate and set aside from the crowd. Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order with their dedicated team to help you create the exact custom apparel you need. And also they got partnerships with schools all around town and the state. U of A, ASU, GCU, part of their campus collection, also partnered with the Phoenix Suns, local company here in Mesa. Check them out, brandedbills.com. Use the code BB. PHNX for 10% off your first order. That's BB, like Bo Brock, and PHNX for your 10% off at brandedbills.com. Have we confirmed that? Is the BB for me? Is that what it is? It's my own personal promo code.
You've ruined it now, and I don't know if you can do any of the Branded Bills reads moving forward. By the way, speaking of Branded Bills, so I think Bo Espo, a couple people were repping this hat Saturday night, and the compliments we were getting from, let's just call them some notables on the field at the celebrity softball game, were immense. You can pick up this hat right now, ALLCITY shop via gophnx.com. This is one of our favorites here. A couple favorites on the Cards offense. We chatted with James Conner and Michael Wilson. Let's start with the Pro Bowl running back, James Conner. We chatted about running it back with this unit, his contract, Trey's contract, and more. Here's JC Saturday night.
Talk to us about the at-bat right now. Arizona Cardinal All-Pro Pro Bowl running back. Fresh off his 3-pitch strikeout of Asher Angel. Coming back on the plate there. What did you see from the Team Red there?
Man, come back on plate. I just try to give it some power.
Ball's popped up.
Little foul ball, but I get back in rhythm.
Yeah.
You looked like you gave up that run and you just kind of got nasty on the bump and you just wanted to shut him down and you did so. So that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, man, it's having fun out here, bro. You know, it's awesome to be out here and with all the guys and just having fun playing baseball. So it's all good that we're just having a good time.
Yeah, talk about the closeness of this Cardinal team. It feels like a special season is en route. You guys are just running back the entire offense from last year.
Yes.
Loading up on defense. Your expectations for this season?
Truthfully, no expectations, but we're going to play hard. I know that. And, you know, like you said, we went heavy on defense. So this offense is, you know, who we got is what we got to do it with. We got to get the ball in the end zone. And that's what it's about, just playing together, being explosive, you know, having motor and violence. And, just trying to put together a great season.
Yeah. Another knock for Kyler Murray. How great is just this event to continue to ingratiate himself here in this community? He's going on to year 7. You're also going into, was it year 4 with the Arizona Cardinals? 5. Yep. Unbelievable. Just how is it to kind of see everybody come out and support you guys beyond just on the gridiron?
No, for sure. This community is awesome. You know, it's a great turnout. Love seeing all the AZ fans, man. They've been loyal from the start. So it's just it's awesome to be out in the community and having fun in beautiful Arizona. Don't get no better.
Absolutely.
The guy at the plate, Trey McBride, just got the bag.
A lot of money.
Yeah, he did. How was it to see him ink that deal?
Man, super, super well-deserved. It's been a blessing to watch him come to work every day.
Yeah.
You know, seeing him at practice, just going after it, man, and just getting himself exhausted, tired. He earned every penny of it.
James,
go ahead. You're good.
Got to head back out
I'm
to the
back.
field.
Appreciate you. Always good to
Thanks
talk.
for your time,
yes,
JC.
Sir. We'll see you again.
Talk to you soon.
Great insight there from James Conner. Well, also poor Asher Angel taking a little bit of a shot to start things off. Asher Angel did not have a good celebrity softball appearance. Did not.
Listen, Bo and I would joke on the broadcast that Bo and I should have gotten at bats at some point. I'm confident, and people are going to shrug at this and roll their eyes. I'm confident I would have had a better at bat than Asher Angel, unequivocally. I would have. There was no scenario in which he was making contact with the ball. 3-pitch strikeout in slow pitch softball. That's a rough scene. And I know
multiple
James
ABs of that.
Yes, I don't know if he ever made contact with the ball.
I don't know how, because Gary Payton, Coach Gary Payton, the glove, was a little shisty as far as how he was running his lineup. As Kevin Murray told us, he was going from about a 9-person lineup to a 5-guy rotation. How Asher Angel stayed and kept getting, his swings at the dish when his spot in the lineup came up, when guys like George Pickens was not.
I mean, if you remember correctly, I believe the controversy was over Asher Angel because Gary Payton was trying to bat George Pickens ahead of him. And then, after that whole skirmish happened on the field, what came out of it? Asher Angel's at the plate. And what did he do in the most crucial AB of the game? Strikes out on 3 pitches.
Tough. That's tough. You expect more for the actor from Shazam, Fury of the Gods, than that.
Johnny, you would have done better than Asher Angel.
Yes. Come on. Give me some. That kid's been active
Gary
probably since he
Payton-
was 8 years old. He's never had a chance to pick up a football, pick up a baseball. To his credit, his parents probably forced him to be a child actor, and he's never been in organized sports ever. So, man, that was funny, Bo. Good stuff from James Conner. Let's get to our guy, Michael Wilson, who met with us post game. Here's our guy.
Get the mic here in just a second.
Okay, get the mic.
Here we go. Michael Wilson joined us post game after the white team took down the red team.
Yeah.
Is victorious here. Star outfielder, star wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, Michael Wilson. My guy, how'd you hold off Team Red in those final innings?
Shoot, honestly, I don't really know. Honestly, I feel like I didn't contribute that much. For people that don't know, I've never played baseball before. Wow. It was my first time. We went to the batting cage on Thursday.
Yeah.
After practice, and that was my first time ever swinging a bat and connecting with a ball. So I was 100% today.
Yeah.
So I got to be 2 for 2.
You were unbelievable.
Yeah. So
I thought you tracked the ball really well out there.
Yeah.
That's not a surprise to anybody.
Yeah.
Tell us about Duvernay out there, man. He was
a good. Yeah, he played in high school. So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious to see, and it's easy to see who has baseball experience in their past and who doesn't. So
if things were getting chippy out there, any idea what the heck was going on?
Honestly, I have no idea what's going on.
I saw you and Marv. You're like, we're good.
Yeah, we were just kind of staying out of it.
Like, how great is it to kind of continue to ingratiate yourselves with this community? I mean, doing it here for your franchise quarterback, doing it for a great cause, his foundation, but to also have Cardinals fans outside of watching you guys at State Farm Stadium do it here at Salt River Fields.
It's amazing. This is kind of the first year, I guess, in my 3 years here where I've been a part of guys doing charity stuff and stuff for their foundation. So I think it's really it's special. And honestly, there's a lot of people here. I was surprised about the turnout.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of celebrities and people who have done spectacular things in their I guess endeavor in life. So it's cool when you can bring a bunch of amazing people together and celebrate for a good cause and just enjoy community. Yeah.
Real quick before we get you out of here, Cardinals load up defense this offseason. Offense, you guys are running it back. Talk about that continuity you guys have.
Yeah, from the offense perspective.
Yeah.
I think that's it's encouraging for a guy like me, and I think for offense that the front office and the coaches trust in the personnel.
Absolutely.
So I was pleased to see that and know that objectively it looks like they have confidence in the players that they have and the personnel on the offensive side of the ball. So I think when we were hitting and rolling, we were, I think, not really hard to stop.
Yeah.
And so I think we just got to continue to double down on that and hopefully just keep doing what we've been doing the last couple of years, but at a higher level.
Can you guys feel the chemistry?
Yeah, for sure. I think, now going on, 2 or 3 years with the same group of guys, I think is it's amazing. So, I think a year ago, we weren't doing this stuff. So I think it shows improvement for sure.
It's crazy. We talked to you 2 years ago when they drafted you to now and how this team has changed and evolved and the expectations.
Yeah.
Do you ever think you'd be here doing things like this?
Not really, no. But, it's amazing to be able to do it. And so hopefully this time next year I'll be able to put something on my own and have hopefully a good turnout like this.
What's the countdown to the baby?
September 15th. So week 2, right after we play the Carolina Panthers.
We'll have to get that dub.
Yeah. So,
Michael Wilson, we appreciate you, my guy. Continued success. Have a great offseason. Good to see you, man.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Great stuff from our guy, Mike Willie, who joined us bi-weekly during the NFL season. Mike is an authentic guy, and we always appreciate the time with him.
Big offseason for Mike Wilson. Got married. He's got his first kid headed his way, as he said there in September. Now he wants to follow all that up with a huge season after some solid year 1 and year 2. As he said, he wants to get involved in the community as well. So he wants to be able to put roots down here with the organization that drafted him in 2023. And you can do nothing but root for a guy like Mike Willie. And for him to have never played before, go out there and be able to be better than a lot of the other players out there on the field. It's a testament at how athletic he is.
I also feel like, we talked about running it back on offense with James and the continuity. Mike was somebody that we still have high aspirations for, but there are people in this fan base that are like, they should have gone out and gotten a high-end number 2 to go with Marv, right? And I think the organization showed you, whether it was passing on multiple receivers in the first round or not interested at 47. I mean, they ignored receiver throughout the duration of not only the draft, but the offseason. That tells you that they know the guys, the infrastructure they have, they just need more targets, more volume, right? Marv and Greg Dortch, they made a conservative effort to bring back Zay Jones early in the offseason. Like, you want to sit here this time next year in free agency and say, you know, if it looks the same, we got to have changes with pass catchers. Like, I'll entertain that. But I do think this group is so talented. And again, everybody's under 25. I mean, just let's give it some time to simmer here before we start blocking people with guys over 30 that are past their prime. Michael Wilson, to me, projects as a consistent 700-800 yard receiver as a number 2 complement to Marv. And I know he's got higher aspirations for himself than that, but I watched him as a rookie. He's one of the most talented players on the field, and I think he's somebody that just needs opportunities to catch the football.
Right. And if he gets those, if they're able to figure out the target share beyond, you know, Trey and Marv, and he's able to capitalize on that and put himself in a position after his year 3 and being a 3rd round pick, like can he kind of push to potentially get an extension? I think like the team is savvy enough to where if some of these guys from that 23 draft class, Mike, Garrett Williams, can pop, maybe even BJ Ojulari, who knows, more of an unknown coming off of a serious injury. Like, these are guys that they would, like Trey, go to the negotiation table right as soon as they're eligible to do so, to maybe cash in on what would be a deal, what would be perceived as a good deal, you know, a year or 2 from then.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Just before we start taking a wrecking ball to this position group, let's get them some more volume and let's put them in better positions to make plays this year. That's what it's all about.
It is kind of a volatile position group, though, because of like where they are. I mean, obviously, you know who the big major mouths to feed are, right? I mean, not just wide receiver, but the playmaking group. But you look at it, like there could be, outside of Marvin Harrison Jr., as far as this wide receiver core, it could lock itself in, or it could be wholesale changes outside of MHJ come 2026. Like, Greg Dortch is now in the final year. There's no more, you know, exclusive rights deal. There's no more restricted deal. It's, you know, he'll be able to hit the market as an unrestricted free agent. You know, would the team look to either, you know, extend him, or do they want to, you know, look for his replacement via free agency or through the draft next year? What's going to tell that is performances coming up from guys who are going to be playing some complementary roles in the passing game.
Can't have anybody go down, to knock on wood. This offense is so reliant on Marvin and Michael staying healthy, and fingers crossed they can do that and produce. Let's flip to the Philadelphia Eagles around the break and why the Cardinals opted, I believe, to push back against the Tush Push. It's PHNX Cardinals. The conversation was hot as they debated as to whether or not to keep or push out the Tush Push. It stays hot here in Arizona. Get hooked up with All Pro Shades Concepts. Extend your outdoor living space with a custom fit awning. They've got hundreds of designs and colors to choose from. Does All Pro Shades Concepts that work with any home. They can match your HOA for approvals. They've got motorized, retractable, remote control, and more. LED lighting to light up your patio awning, and they can hook you up right now if you need a complete gut job. You're starting from scratch. They're your peeps. Otherwise, they might be able to come in and salvage what you do have. They're the most trusted local shade company in the Valley, voted #1 ranking for Arizona and patio shades in 2024. That's because of their BBB A+ rating with over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google. They've been in business for 20 years in the Valley. They started making window shades by hands for friends, and it took off. Now they're one of the largest installers of patio roll-down shades and motorized awnings in the Valley. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Give them a call right now. There's no reason not to. It's a free estimate, 623-204-1476. That's 623-204-1476. And check them out online, allproshadesconcepts.com.
Their work, incredible. Get it done for yourself if you're in need of it. All Pro Shade Concepts. Also, check out what's going on with our friends over at Sanderson Ford. Johnny, I was out at the Cardinals facility yesterday, and one of our favorite players is rolling in a beautiful Ford Raptor. One of my favorite vehicles just in general. So very cool to see that. What's going on right now with Sanderson Ford is they've got the From America, for America employee pricing. You pay what the employees pay, what the top CEOs pay, what the GMs of each respective dealership, including Sanderson Ford, pay. Check it out at Sanderson Ford. You pay the same price, full lineup of Fords, no hassle, no pressure, no nonsense, and now no added markups. And on top of employee pricing, get the additional Ford incentives with the 70th anniversary sale that's going on, the Sanderson Ford Platinum 70th anniversary sale. In celebration of their 70th anniversary, stop and get a pair of tickets to the Arizona Diamondbacks game going on July 6th against Bobby Witt Jr. and the Kansas City Royals while supplies last for 200 tickets. Excludes 2025 Expedition, Super Duty Raptor, Family, and, of course, Mustang and Bronco specialty vehicles. But check them out right now. The From America, for America employee pricing and the 70th anniversary sale going on at Sanderson Ford.
Everybody drop a like on this video. We've got your Super Chats right around the corner, but we need you and we need your likes to subscribe here to PHNX Sports on YouTube. And of course, check us out, gophnx.com, become a diehard. All right, let's get into it. We could have led the show with this today, but we needed time. We needed time to conserve our energy, build up, because now it's time to go to task on the Philadelphia Eagles and their fraudulent owner and Jeffrey Lurie and company. The Tush Push, which has been a point of contention for teams since the inception with Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, was up for vote today to potentially ban it by the NFL. The league opted to not ban it in a vote of 22-10. The league needed 24 votes. They got 22, did the opposing team. So just missed it by 2 votes, Brack. And here, I'm going to tell you right now, here are the 10 teams that voted against the Tush Push ban. Eagles, of course. Ravens, of course, with Lamar Jackson. Browns, Lions, Jaguars, Dolphins, Saints, Patriots, Jets, and Titans. So those are the 10 teams right there. You see them there. Of course, we talked about it earlier. Fraud Saints, just, following orders from, Emperor Palpatine in Philadelphia. Ravens with their mobile quarterback. I'm not, if you're the Miami Dolphins, never run a Tush Push with Tua ever. So those are the teams that said no.
Nothing's ever made less sense, Johnny, than when Bo sends me that tweet and I read Dolphins across the screen. A team that will never run a Tush Push, that is the least physical team in football, that lost a football game to the Philadelphia Eagles because of the Tush Push almost solely a couple of seasons ago. Egregious. And I'm sorry to the football fans everywhere that that organization is to be a part of it. I want to formally apologize.
We appreciate that. Let's look at these teams one more time, if we would. And this fantastic graphic with crying Sirianni here, moved by our national anthem. I think this was pre the Super Bowl here in Glendale, but needed 24 votes, but they just got 22. Got the Eagles, that's an NFC team, but then you go on a run here. A pair of AFC teams. The Lions are an NFC team. You got another trio of AFC teams, and the Jags, Dolphins, Patriots. Then you've got, of course, under Sirianni's thumb, Kellen Moore, who probably calls him nightly, trying to get advice, and then a pair more of AFC teams. So what is that? 3 of the 10 teams that voted to not ban the Tush Push were NFC teams, while the rest playing the gamesmanship and understanding that if you've got this free play for the Eagles and you're going to play them in pivotal games in January, you don't want to have that in the playbook. But I guess, Dan Campbell doesn't care. He's man enough to go against the Tush Push. Go ahead. And then, Kellen Moore, and then, of course, the Eagles themselves. So it's pretty easy to see, like, AFC teams were probably on the fence, didn't really care that too much. Like, the only time you're going to face the Eagles potentially in a meaningful game would be in the Super Bowl. And like the Jags, they're not going to the Super Bowl. So that's not that big of they don't care too much about it.
the Cardinals voted no to letting it stick around. They wanted the ban, as did the Indianapolis Colts. So the two coordinators for Philadelphia that have since become head coaches in Steichen and Gannon voting no. I think that's interesting. But I put out a tweet today, and I stand by this. I just feel like if you're the Arizona Cardinals and the Philadelphia Eagles whined and complained, and pardon my language, bitched following the hiring of Jonathan Gannon, you could never side with the Eagles on anything. Well, that administration is still there. And this is the big reason why we talked about it with Hassan Reddick last year. They'll never make a trade with the Eagles. They'll never do business with the Eagles. The Eagles complained to the league and basically got the Cardinals stripped of a third-round pick. I know it was a pick swap, but it was basically a third-round pick. I'll never forget the shock and awe bone I had sitting at Four Peaks Brewery doing our draft show and how ridiculous that was. It was unprecedented. And you think back, they tried to drag JG's name in the mud, and they got on Austin Ford for something that happened all the time. So I don't care if they loved it or not. Like, you cannot side with him for anything. And I know Gannon has good relationships. He's well thought of. Of course he is, just like anywhere else. But it's the principle of the thing. And I am glad the Cardinals are now in a position. I know they beat him 2 years ago with the roster that they have to compete with Philadelphia. You can't help them. Don't help Philadelphia in their fraudulent ways, please.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't. And it's obviously a hot topic, a polarizing topic. It's something that has been controversial since the inception. Yeah, I know in like 2005, and that's a while ago, like the NFL like laxed its rules as far as physically pushing, players, ball carriers with other players on offense. But still, I mean, it's something like under the guise of player safety, I think that's a bit silly. But to not realize that this seems to have a competitive advantage and is in Philly, you want to tip your cap to them being able to do it at the highest level like they have. The fact that like their owner goes and he has to persuade and whip votes for nearly an hour today needs to tell you all you need to know. I mean, it's not something that's just cut and dry. And it's like, hey, look at the tape and just take in consideration what we're dealing with here. This should be a play that's allowed, where he had to put on this whole dog and pony show and try to sway these guys. And most of them were not. And like outside of like the Lions and obviously whipping up poor Kellen Moore, who's in over his head and is just thankful for a head coaching opportunity after being cast off by Mike McCarthy, the Chargers, and then landing in an offense with the best offensive line and best running back in the universe, and then worked his way into a head coaching position. He feels like he owed Sirianni something, but they don't, like, the rest of the league doesn't want this play available for any of the teams.
Do we have to read this quote from Sirianni? I think I need you.
It's not Sirianni. The quote from Sirianni. I mean, it just goes to show how he lacks a little bit of self-awareness. This was him talking. This was via Mike Garafolo. This was back in the coaches and owners meetings in April. He said, all I will say about it is Jonathan Gannon, Shane Steichen, and Kellen Moore better vote for it. They are the head coach. They're in a head coach position right now because of that play. So all three, I better have those three votes right there.
No, dumbass. Jonathan Gannon had 70 sacks and 18 interceptions. The best defense in the history of your franchise. Not because of the dumb tush push, because of their defensive efforts. He's a defensive coach. He's your defensive coordinator.
Right.
Like, you want to make an argument for Steichen, who has been a train wreck developing offensive personnel in Indianapolis? I don't care what he did the first year. That's a terrible division. And now we all think Kellen Moore is going to be a big-time fraud in New Orleans. Like, Jonathan Gannon has come to Arizona and created a defense that is poised to be a top unit in the NFL. That's why he got hired. And he's a culture builder. Not because it's some stupid play. That's not why Cardinals can't even run it here. It's not because of that play. Shut up, moron.
Right. Harrison Smith, the great safety for Minnesota Vikings, was at one point asked, like, when he was playing under Gannon, who was the DB's coach in Minnesota, like, who's the best coach you've played under? He said Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah.
That's going to help him ascend as he went from DB's guy in Minnesota and in Indianapolis to a DC at Philly. Like, he was always going to be a head coach. Some gimmick play that's on life support right now is not the reason he's a culture changer in Arizona. It's just not, and trending towards being one of the best coaches in the franchise's history.
It's like saying, like, remember when the Wildcat was like a big deal, and it's like, man, the Wildcat really revolutionizing the evidence. It's like, no, this is a flash in the pan, and it coincides with the best roster in the NFL, so we all have to stomach it all the time. I mean, listen, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. I don't think it's relevant to what the Cardinals are going to try to do this year, and I would love for the Cardinals to be in a position to play Philly, because that means they're in the playoffs and they're thriving, and we've seen Gannon out. Gannon's undefeated as a head coach against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll take my chances there again in 2025, 2026 postseason. But to me, it's like, it was close enough this year. I do think it gets banned eventually. And for Philadelphia, it's like, can you just take a beat? Can we just not see you or hear from you for a little while? We were always around.
They're the worst guy in your fantasy football league to win the title. And people were just wanting something that they didn't want the three-peat from the Chiefs, so they're willing to go with whatever the other option was. And unfortunately, it's Philly. You know, you'll see how insufferable they are. And it's in, like, especially on days like today, their fans come out in full force, even though Sirianni probably doesn't even like their fans because they wanted him fired. It was earlier this season. They definitely wanted him fired the previous season. So and then like I talked about, like, the nearly hour that they had. I don't want to give too much credit to the 49ers, but one of their owners, York, was just like, how much more of this ass do we have to sit through?
Good job, Jed.
Lurie giving this big speech about it. And then this weirdness comes out of it. Damon, if you don't mind, do we have the quote?
You read this. I can't read this.
Oh, we don't have this?
Just read it.
Yeah, I'll just read it. Lurie made an analogy telling the room that regardless of whether the play was banned, it was a win-win for the Eagles, and adding it was, quote, like a wet dream for a teenage boy. What are we doing? Bonk. Stop.
I need this offseason to be over now. That when I saw that in the rundown today, I had not seen that. I had to double check that was a real quote. Please,
Troy Vincent, who played for the Eagles, who now holds a high position within the NFL, was just like, WTF, Jeff? What do we do? Why? Why are you saying those things? There's women in the room. Gross, dude.
How didn't that get more run today? As just like, these NFL owners, listen, they're just not super relatable people. Turns out billionaires, you know, they're not like you and me living next door. Yowza. That's a good stopping point. I saw that quote in the rundown. Stop saying words. Could you imagine any person, like, just making conversation? That must just be a term he uses, like, all the time in conversation. God. It's like, I'm not going to repeat it, but it's like, take a step. Why don't you stop talking for a while?
Yeah. Why don't you just sit the next few plays out? Take a beat, my guy. Yeah. I mean, of course, his yes men like Howie Roseman and Sirianni probably laugh. He thinks it's a funny thing.
Up all Jeffrey Lurie's slop garbage.
Got it from Big Dom, I heard.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure Big Dom probably he probably fakes like fall like at his waist side, like knee slaps.
I see that, and here's what I'm gonna say. Come on, Jaden Daniels. Come on, Cliff. We need you to be relevant again. Come on, Dan Quinn. Enough of this garbage. I don't want to see these people, these freaks anymore, these freak shows. I don't want to see you. Come on, Clayton Adams, get that offensive line going in Dallas. I don't want to see the Eagles be relevant anymore. I've had enough. You've had your time. I appreciate, you taking out San Francisco a couple of years ago. No more Eagles. Not this rendition. Yeah. We're done here. We're done.
I mean, people quickly got sick of the Chiefs and their shtick and their winning. Mahomes and Mahomes' family and Kelsey and Swift and all that. Like this might be running a shorter course as far as people's appetite to deal with the Eagles and their fan base.
But they're just competing with Brian Schottenheimer, who should be a high school coach, and then The Walking Dead, which are the New York Giants. It's like they just, man.
Let's get to overtime real quick, if you don't mind.
Come on, Cliff. We need you, Cliff. Clean this garbage up with the Eagles. OT, baby. We appreciate you guys jumping over from wherever you're watching, one of our many streaming partners, to GoPHNX.com here on YouTube. There it is. OT. The conversation continues, but not about what Jeffrey Lurie said, but thankfully your super chats. Bo, you want to kick us off, my guy?
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you to everybody that obviously chimed in on the chat today, especially our super chats out there. If we bring up our first super chat of the day, how about Libertarian Sasquatch jumping in? $1.99. Thank you, Libertarian. Kyler collapses in on himself like a dying star.
Wow.
It's a big collapse. A big time collapse.
It's one man's opinion. It's not a fan of K1 at the end of the year. Here's the deal. Kyler, his dad, his coach, everybody on the same page. We got to be better at the end of the year. Got to be better. Like that's not a hot take for Kyler to hear, but Gannon would tell you it's a 53-man roster. It's a team sport. So there are things that Kyler can help the team, and there are things that the team can help Kyler do. Cardinals didn't have one defensive touchdown last year. You think that's changing this year? I bet it does. Taco Corp. Go ahead, Bo. Do you have something to add to that?
No, I was just saying a little light in the likes. I will say that every like now for this PHNX Cardinals show will help keep Jeffrey Lurie from speaking engagements in the future. So like away if you would. Can't let that man in front of an audience any longer.
You put that in the rundown, and I'm like, there's no way this is. I'm a Twitter addict. There's no way this is a real quote. And I'm like, did they get that suppressed on purpose so nobody would see that?
Our friends at PHLY were like celebrating it. Like they did a whole breakdown of it.
Give me Fran Duffy. No way Fran stands for that. Fran, you're a family man. I don't want to see that. See that trash. Taco Corp 199. Where's Johnny Pickett, Hans Venerable on that list? I mean, I'm guessing the quarterback list. Let's see it, Damon. I guess it's just embedded into our stream now. Let's see baby Hans Venerable here. Yeah, there it is. My Pellegrino in hand. Man, listen, put me off to the side for a second. Those are the smallest hands in the history of the NFL for a quarterback, are they not?
They have to be.
That ball is begging to slip out of those mitts.
Oh, man. I mean, yeah, he is gripping that thing for dear life. Because anything less, that thing's just it's probably like popping up to the skyward. You've got Kenny Pickett and Dalen Gabriel, according to Mary Kay Cabot. They're competing, taking the one reps with Cleveland,
competing to go 0-17. Jackson Maddox 499. Have any of our new free agents been out of practice? Laugh out loud. I worded it wrong yesterday. Oh, gotcha. No worries, Jackson. That I'll defer to my co-host because he's at practice. But I mean, like I have not seen Calais yet. Have you seen Josh, Sweaty J, and the boys?
We haven't had any access to practice. No open to the media practice outside of one rookie mini camp day. So I've seen about 20 minutes of this team, and it was all just rookies. We haven't been privy to any of the, and you'll see this through the team site on their socials, that they've obviously been practiced. I saw a video of Kyler hitting Trey, but no, I couldn't be there to even do roll call. So it's closed to the media.
I mean, I would assume that a lot of the new guys are there. Taco Corp's back, $4.99. Excellent call out here. 15 plus guys on rookie deals playing meaningful snaps this year. Monty's vision is clear. I mean, you're never going to know how good of a draft and developer you are unless you give guys chances to play. So if you're a pick in rounds 1 through 3, you're a starter unless you're B.J. Ojulari, who got hurt, right? Mm-hmm. And you're competing for time. Everybody else, it's like, we put Tip Ryman off to the side. It's like Isaiah Adams, 3rd rounder, starter. Michael Wilson, starter. Garrett Williams, starter. Max Melton, Darius, Marv, Paris. The 2 kids we had on yesterday, Walter Nolan, Will Johnson. Like, these guys are all coming into play and play meaningful snaps. And then it's like, then can you get some contributors on day 3? Taylor Demerson, I think I've said this from the beginning. I think he's a star waiting to happen. I think you've got Cody Simon this year who's going to compete for starting time. It's a different philosophy, and it's refreshing because they've never embraced drafting like this before.
No. What is the number? What was the number? 15?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you'd probably be hard pressed to break double digits with the previous regime with guys drafted and developed in this organization after about year 1, where players would play way too little of a snaps.
Yeah.
They would become afterthoughts, and they would try to replace them with veterans in free agency. It was, and the vicious cycle would just continue. Where it's just like, guys, the expectations is for them to be drafted in the organization, develop, and then see their role increase. Otherwise, like if your role decreases, it probably means your time with the organization is going to be short.
Your time with us is well spent. We appreciate all of you. Drop a like. We got 307 watching live. Again, big shout out to our friends at Bird Gang Travel, Tyler and the entire group there. Come on out, hang with us in New Orleans in the opening week. And then, of course, we've got packages. They've got packages for Dallas. They just announced, I believe, Larry Centers is going to be on the Dallas trip. Of course,
Wow.
Jake Plummer is going to join us in week 1. I would imagine that's not the only surprises that Bird Gang has up their sleeve. So, again, check that out right now. We will be in New Orleans. That's not a question.
Yeah.
Bo, myself, and the entire group with Bird Gang Travel. So come and join us. Opening week in the NFL. It's going to be a party like no other, Bo.
No, it's going to be an awesome time to be down there in the Big Easy in Louisiana on Bourbon Street, hanging with us, getting all the tastes, the sights, the sounds that town has to offer. Also, got to tell everybody about our PHNX daily newsletter before we get out of here. We're on our guy Patrick Brown churning out daily content, biggest news in Arizona, in the Valley, in your inbox daily at 6 a.m., completely free, and be the smartest sports fan you know, thanks to the GoPHNX.com newsletter. You can sign up GoPHNX.com/newsletter to get that free emailer to you every day.
Big thanks to all of our friends in the chat, our diehards especially. We're back on a football Thursday tomorrow with your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Brian sneaking a super chat under the door. This offseason is giving all the fans nocturnal emissions. Can't wait for the season to start.
Wow.
Brian, we appreciate you, my guy.
This is some Jeffrey Lurie stuff right there.
Yep, that was interesting choice. Don't let these super chats distract you from what Jeffrey Lurie said. Whoops. Like this video, subscribe. Despite Jeffrey Lurie's comments, we're back on a Thursday for Bo, Damon. I'm Johnny. See you then.
We all silly like the mayor.